Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to you all, or a very cold welcome, perhaps, should I say. It certainly is where I am in London, East London. The wind is whipping over from the east and it's a very chilly night. So I'm wrapped up in my blanket. Welcome to the people who are joining. You are very welcome. If you could all pop yourselves on mute while we're juggling the tech, that would be really, really handy. And we'll do the same as much as we possibly can. But yeah, it's great to have you all here. I'm just about to introduce Charlotte to you. Charlotte is our global chair, and I am the UK lead for ION, for ION UK, which we are launching today. I'm very excited to be doing so. So without any further ado, shall I pass over to you, Charlotte?
Thank you very much, Morwenna. Thank you, and thank you for moderating, so I don't have to think about the technology. That's really appreciated.
No problem.
Not my strong side. Autistic with no technology skills, that's what I am. So thank you so much for all of you to be here and help us launch ION in the UK. We have a number of countries we're going to launch in the coming months and years to achieve our sort of world domination, as someone was saying, where we will aim to be in 100 different countries, which is about 50% of the countries in the world, and hopefully with 1 million members by the end of 2025. So that's a bit of a steep ambition, but I think together we can make that happen. We do believe that we are 20+% of the total world population, so we should be getting a small fraction of that if we bring us together as 1 million people. So the story so far is that we started a year ago with a handful of people that now form the global steering group, of which you will see some of us speak today. We've worked throughout the year all online. Most of us have never met each other face to face. We've managed to pull it all together to set up entity headquarters in Switzerland, our UK entity as well, and on the way to setting up other entities. So it's been a bit of a ride, but it's been an amazing one. And there are so many people who've taken part and helped us with various things, to which we're hugely grateful. We would like to see a world where we can all thrive to our potential, equal to other people. We're not looking for more than what other people get, but we would like neurodiverse individuals to be able to prosper equally to everybody else. We are bringing together, we have brought together some founding corporate members, and I think, Morwenna, would you move a slide? I don't know what on the next slide, just to show some of the different things we have.
I will, if the technology lets me.
Yeah.
There we go.
Here's our corporate members that has been very, very good and joined us in our journey at the founding level, where we are a complete startup and they have to really trust in us being able to do what we've done. So we've got Jacobs Engineering, Wood PLC on tap in Australia, Hattons Railways in the Midlands of UK, Stanton Chase in the UK. We've got Jersey Electricity as a government-owned entity, Global Governance Group, and Langerook Construction, which is both in the UK and in Australia. For some of these corporate members, we will work with them both in the UK and other countries, but we're hugely grateful for their trust in us and believe that we can make happen what we've told them we can. So with the corporate members, we're helping them setting up employee resource groups and supporting them so that they can support the neurodiverse employees they have and the allies that we have within them. So it's very important that we have allies with us. Obviously, the goal should be that the whole world will eventually be our allies, and by which time the institute is not necessary anymore, because we've moved to another level of cognitive understanding of what the different neurotypes in the world are and what we bring. We have boards. We have a global board and a global steering group, and we have a UK board and a UK steering group, and we're setting up the same in the different countries we have country leads for. And I think, Morwenna, if you turn a slide, that we have someone here. We've got the global steering group, and we have used some of the same people for the boards as well. And you can see in UK is the board members, Morwenna, Tony, Andre, Lindsay, and myself as the chair. And I also chair the global board. Eventually, I will just chair the global board, and we're set up a social franchise so that in the countries people can easily set up and adhere to an operations manual and the various services that we have. For today, we really want to go over our services. We launched officially globally on the 15th of October, and this is our first country launch we're having. So we thought it would be appropriate to go over our services that we've had in the different countries. We've had some media interest recently, and it's actually broadened the knowledge about us out quite significantly. Sorry, I jumped to another one. Our website, I'm not following the slides, that's bad. That was our global launch. And the next slide is the website, which is ION, so Lisam Ion, but ionneurodiversity.org. And on that, you can see the various services we have with explanations as well, and sign up as member if you're not already. I think the next one is some press that we've had, and we've been covered in 26 different media outlets around the launch we're having in the UK mainly, but also globally. And we were lucky to have a very good journalist in the Financial Times who wrote really succinctly about what it is we are trying to do. So the next slide, Morwenna. These are our services that we're going to go over today, as you would see them on our website. And we're going to have different people speaking to different services who are involved with those services. And we're aiming for the services to be the same globally. And they are all set up in a way to feed into to helping us prosper in society, both in work, in education, in later in life. I mean, people think that senior neurodivergent people doesn't exist. They do. I'm 57, so I'll be a senior very soon, the sooner that I would like to. But we don't stop being neurodivergent just because we become older, and that's not well understood. We might be better at masking it, but we are nevertheless still the same on the inside. So with this, I would like to hear from our steering group members that are talking about the services, and some of our board members, and first pass it over to Morwenna.
Thank you, Charlotte. If somebody could monitor the chat for me, that would be great. Because a bit like you, Charlotte, I'm not always great at juggling lots of things, but I will certainly do my best. Yes, so our first theme this evening, here are the 6 themes: awareness, connect, collaborate, represent, celebrate, and research. And we'll also be talking to Michael, who is our partner with a mental health service. He'll tell you more about that later. So our very first theme this evening, under the heading of awareness, is ION Stories. Before I talk about ION Stories, I would just like to say that it's my huge privilege to be working with so many wonderful people at ION and globally, and to start leading the UK franchise. I'd also like to thank everybody who's joined today. Thank you. Second, it's very much my pleasure to lead on one of ION's many vital services, ION Stories. ION Stories highlights people's lived experience. It includes blogs, vlogs, and the podcast. The podcast is on all the 4 big platforms: Audible, iTunes, Spotify, and Google, and a host of smaller platforms too. So you'll find us everywhere. By the time a neurodiverse or neurodivergent person is a teenager, they will have heard thousands more negative comments about themselves compared with their neurotypical peers. ION exists to change that story and to improve lives. We believe that it's vital to highlight real lived experience through stories, events, and training, because historically, other people have spoken for us and about us. A common phrase in the disability community is "nothing about us without us." We aim to ensure that neurodiverse people get influential seats at the table, working hand in hand with all people, neurodiverse and neurotypical, to change the world for the better. We know that the best way to learn about any kind of neurodiversity is from the people who have that characteristic themselves. And one of the best ways for people to thrive is to promote diverse role models that they can relate to across all cultures, countries, industries, protected characteristics, and walks of life. ION Stories does all this and more. It's early days for ION, but we are developing our products and services rapidly. We are already reaching thousands of people globally through our channels. We've heard from dozens of people who want to open a franchise in their country. We're making great strides towards our aim of 1 million members in 100 countries. Enthusiasm and excitement when we talk to them is palpable and joyful. We also hear from the most remarkable people daily with remarkable stories, people and businesses that we are proud to promote. People tell us that they feel more optimistic and less alone because of the work we're doing and the possibilities for them to be involved. By promoting their voices and stories, we all benefit and prosper. We would love for you to sign up as a member if you are not already a member. Sign up through the website, neurodiversity.org. Also, you can follow us on our social media channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and do listen to the podcast, as I've already mentioned. Also, do contact us through our channels or through the ION Stories page of the website and tell us about you. We'd like to know how you'd like to be involved and what you need from ION. Tell your story through ION Stories. Thank you. And now we're going to move over to hear from Miranda, who's talking on the theme of Connect. So Miranda, I'll leave you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi everyone and welcome to you all. So my name's Miranda Morgan. I'm diagnosed with autism, dyslexia and dyspraxia, and thus I identify myself as neurodiverse. I'm employed as a senior social worker with within children's services, and I'm passionate about equality, diversity and inclusion and advocate for neurodiverse people. So I'm a steering group founder member of ION, and I hope to launch ION social work in the coming months. That is my passion to achieve this. So one of the main ways that neurodiverse people can thrive is through collaboration, by sharing what we know with others so that the world benefits. When we share experiences and information, we find we're not alone and it's an enriching experience for us. We find that other people feel similar and we find ways to work better. That benefits us, the organisations we work for, wider society and global economies. The innovation that neurodiverse people bring has never been more important than it is today. So ION forums. For that reason, we are starting professional forums on the ION website. So I'm pleased to be starting a forum for social workers. Professions like social work and other health and several others are very much about caring for others. But that caring doesn't always necessarily extend to ourselves. And when you add neurodiversity into the mix, well, then sadly, we are more likely to be misunderstood, unsupported, and to leave the workforce. Our professional forums aim to change that by creating safe communities for collaboration and specifically to share best practice. For example, we have best practice resources for employee resource groups. That way, our members, both individuals and the companies that partner with us, we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. ION events. We are also starting to promote ION events, which are specifically designed to enhance knowledge about neurodiversity. Working with our partners, we will promote neurodiverse speakers who are speaking at seminars, webinars, training sessions, and more. So for example, a webinar led by the organisation's exceptional individuals called The Future of Neurodiversity, which is taking place on the 16th of December at 12 noon. The webinar is part of a longer series of autism events through Eventbrite. So call for action. We want you to contact us through the website or other channels. If you'd like to run a forum for your profession, or if you're interested in running an event with us, or promoting your existing events with our members, we would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Miranda, for talking to us about forums and events. Now we're going to go on to Tony, who is going to talk to us on the theme of collaborate and those two products, Ion Networks and Ion Classified. Over to you, Tony.
More things than I probably knew about, but there you go. Hello, I'm Tony Fish. Visually, my name would be the toe on the end of your foot, the knee halfway up your leg, and the little fish that swims in the sea. It'll give you an idea immediately that I work in the visual space rather than anything else. I've proudly never had a job, and I realized very early on I was never going to fit in the constraints. Leaving school without an English O-level as so dyslexic, and I proudly have achieved a U. Unlike Charlotte, therefore, I ended up in tech, and that's what I've done for 30 plus years. I've built and sold a whole series of businesses, listed and funded quite a few, and run 3 venture funds, investing into over 100. Largest transaction to date was 3.4 billion, but I remain deeply passionate about the startup, and particularly individuals who kind of like me, they didn't fit and they want to do it themselves. 2018, I took a sabbatical for a year. And since then, I've been wrestling with how do the neurodiverse make judgment? How do we do governance? How do we do oversight? And what are the differences we see compared to others? And how will that affect the next 1,000 years as we go forward? Because the data is changing absolutely everything. I'm delighted to hear, Charlotte, thank you very much for the introduction, that as I get older, passing the wrong side of 50, that neurodiversity doesn't fade with age. My wife will probably tell everybody else that it gets worse, but you know, that's one to be debated, I'm sure, over a glass of wine. In terms of talking about something specifically, Ion is both a membership and umbrella organization. And what we mean by that is we partner with many brilliant organizations and individuals. And you'll see that and I just enjoying the chat and working going forwards and seeing so other many like-minded people come together who want to do something as well. So we believe that partnerships and collaboration is the sustainable model that will help and enable individuals help the world, because that's what we see that we can do. We seek to work with and alongside people who drive for a greater good. And you've heard that already several times. Through partnerships, we can bring, we believe, the individuals, government, businesses, and academia together under one agenda, gaining an overview of the values and issues of neurodiversity within societal and business context. And just watching the chat going forward, we're starting to see that, and it's so good that I know nothing about healthcare and hearing about some of the
can you dry yourself off, please? Right, well, you're going to need to do something different for your groin, because it's always wet when you do that.
I'm sorry, Tony, I muted you and I meant to mute somebody else. It's Morwenna. Can you unmute yourself? And
I can
there
unmute
is
myself.
somebody who's obviously chatting with their kids there, so thank you.
That's all right. I think it was Rebecca, but there you go. I haven't got a clue. Going back, sorry, yes, I was muted halfway through a sentence. So through partnerships, we can bring individuals and governments and businesses and academia together. And I was saying that it's so exciting to see, particularly around healthcare and social, which I know very little about, how we can understand the values and issues of neurodiversity within those sectors and bring it in a context to how we can reform policy. So together, we're creating a forum, and that's, I suppose, and Charlotte's helped start this and kick it off, and Morwenna is carrying it forward as the UK and sort of giving us instruction. But together, we're creating a forum where businesses can work together towards a common aim of creating positive outcomes to and for neurodiverse people. For example, we're going to work with government to form a cross-party parliamentary group specifically focusing on neurodiversity. The aim of the group will be to increase understanding of neurodiversity at a government level, which will affect policy legislation and how we can bring about change in society. Several vital services, or one has already been described in terms of stories, and we're going to go on to several after this as well. But one I want to talk about was a directory of neurodiverse and neurodiverse positive businesses. So it's neurodiverse led and neurodiverse positive businesses. And these are training companies, coaches, consultants, and a whole pile more. And we're grouping them together under ION Classified. So that's another service, ION Classified. This group will promote the strengths inherent in neurodiversity and support people with their values, diversity, and difficulties, rather than, as Miranda's already said, we don't seeking to fix people or change people. We're proud to work with the companies. Excuse me. We're proud to work with these companies and partners who share our aims of equality. Oh, God. Dreaded cough. This group will promote the strengths inherent in neurodiversity and support people in their values, diversity, and difficulties rather than seeking to fix or change people. We're proud to work with companies and partners who share our aims of equality, diversity, and inclusion. Together, we're working towards a world that embraces neurodiversity. How can you support? And I'm seeing lots of commentaries already going on the chat. Please reach out and contact us, which you're already starting to do. You'll discover that partnership starts with the simple things, such as, reaching out, joining one of the forums, and starting being part of discussions of the subjects and how we make plans. To join ION Classified, please turn up at the website. And I think I'm handing back to Morwenna.
You are, Tony. Thank you very much. We were hoping to have the lovely Jude Morrow with us this evening, but Jude can't join us, sadly. So I'm going to step in and just mimic Jude for a little while. So pretend I've got a beard. So the next thing we're going to talk about is represent, and the product or service is ION Voice. With ION's collective strength, we will have greater influence in the world, which will amplify the voices of our members. Our theme of represent includes services like ION Voice. ION Voice includes projects to hear from our members, to lobby government and influence business, and to inform the public about neurodiversity. Through ION Voice, we will create regular membership surveys and research to gather the views of our members. We will ask members what they want us to influence on their behalf. For example, members might want us to work with transport systems, such as airlines, bus companies, and train companies, to improve their staff's understanding and treatment of neurodiverse travellers. We hear about neurodiverse people experiencing discrimination, sadly. Some of us have experienced it ourselves, which probably stems from people's lack of knowledge. We also hear that neurodiverse people of colour are disproportionately singled out, misunderstood, and sometimes traumatised by poor experiences. We want to change that. Similarly, our members may want us to address inequalities in the criminal justice system. We know that neurodiverse people are hugely overrepresented in prisons and remand centres. We're also more likely to be excluded from schools, and there is a link between the two. Our members may want to know why that is and work towards reversing that trend. We think that's an issue. Again, that work will benefit across the whole of society. There are many great organisations doing great work in this space, and if our members agree, we will use our collective powers with our many partners to address this. So if this is something that you are passionate about, or any of the issues that we've talked about today, do join us as a member, as we've said, so together we can start to influence change on that wider level. Do answer our membership surveys and connect with us through all our channels. We want to hear from you about what we should be speaking up about and campaigning for. Thank you very much. So the next person we were going to be hearing from this evening is Jeremy, and again, sadly, in kind of awards style, we don't actually have Jeremy with us, sadly. So I think, Charlotte, you're going to step in here. And
step in, yeah. Jeremy. Thank you very much, Morwenna. Much appreciated. So part of what we were talking about when we initially started our discussions a year ago was the key sort of mission items that we wanted to move towards. We want to celebrate as one of them, doing that through awards, global awards, local awards, country awards, awards that will lift and celebrate people who do good advocacy, starters, you know, to encourage new people to come to the table, that it's not just, you know, the same faces we see again and again. Generally celebrate being neurodiverse, celebrate the neurodiverse individuals who succeed, celebrate the allies that really do a good work to help us succeed as well. In 2022, we will hold our first annual Neurodiversity Award events. We're going to start putting them together in the Q1 next year. They will celebrate the excellence and innovation in neurodiversity across every continent of the world. Our panelists will be the best of the best across the neurodiversity world. So not an easy panel to impress. Organizations and individuals will need to be providing services that are exemplary and groundbreaking. We're looking for people who are changing the world for neurodiverse people in line with our mission. For example, for awards, we'll look for all types of organizations as well, with unique hiring programs who have increased the number of neurodiverse people they hire, and also worked with inclusion. We will also lead a global award for 2023, where the UN will be involved around inclusion awards for bigger businesses around, again, split into 3 different continents. Employee resource groups with projects that improve people's understanding of neurodiversity will be celebrated, supporting the neurodiverse people at their best and allowing businesses to not only attract but also retain neurodiverse talent. People who are dramatically changing outcomes for neurodiverse people through specialist services and advocacy is also something we would be looking at celebrating. We really look forward to recognizing the many achievements of neurodiverse people and our allies, organizations and businesses. Do get involved, enter to sponsor an award or to nominate someone. You can get in touch with us through the website or via any of our social media channels. With that, I want to pass over to Punit, who is going to talk to us about our research and development, professional development unit. Thank you for being here today, Punit.
Thank you, Charlotte. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr Punit Shah, an Associate Professor of Psychology and Neuroscience at the University of Bath. I'm also the Director of the GW4 Neurodevelopmental Neurodiversity Network, which includes academics and neurodivergent people across Bath, Bristol, Exeter and Cardiff, so the southwest of the UK. So, as many of you know, academic research has often focused on the cause of neurodiversity, overly focusing on supposed deficits and difficulties. But my research actually finds many strengths and similarities between neurodivergent and neurotypical people. And we must do more, I would argue, to ask neurodivergent people about the kind of research that would really make a difference to their lives. So, addressing these challenges in 2022, the Institute of Neurodiversity is launching a research unit which will be driven by neurodivergent people. The unit will foster cutting-edge research, as you'd expect, and promote its application to academic and non-academic audiences through workshops, seminars, masterclasses, an annual international conference, international chapters, and notably a journal dedicated to neurodiversity. And I am particularly excited to be planning this peer-reviewed journal, which will be working with a leading academic publisher, a neurodiverse editorial board, and experts like myself in the field. So if you're a clinician, researcher, or academic interested in this line of our work, we'd welcome your involvement. Please do contact us through the channels that have already been mentioned, that will be re-mentioned, or contact me through LinkedIn to find out more. And thank you for inviting me to talk, Charlotte.
Nice. Thank you for your exciting introduction to the Research and Development Unit. I think now we are going to talk or hear from Michael. Are you with us, Michael? I know you had issues with pets and things today, so I'm hoping you are there with us.
Hi. Well, almost didn't
Hi,
make
Michael. Great to have you here.
Great to be here. 1 second, please. I'm not very good at this technology either, to be honest. So can you all see me fine? I assume you can.
We can.
Excellent. So good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Schumacher. I'm the CEO and founder of RTN Mental Health Solutions. RTN Mental Health Solutions is very, very excited to be here and be part of this global movement that we know is going to have a profound impact on how the world understands and celebrates neurodiversity. You might not be surprised to know that the neurodiverse community are more likely to experience mental health issues than the neurotypical population. For example, those with autism are 4 times more likely to suffer with depression than their neurotypical peers. 4 times more. This is not because of autism, but because in most cases, the pressure to conform in our society. ION recognizes this challenge and has therefore appointed RTN Mental Health Solution as its mental health strategic partner, which we are very, very proud of. We are owned and run by mental health professionals, and that's something else which myself as a CEO, I'm very proud of. So any live chat you use, any phone line you will use, anyone you speak to is a mental health professional. And I think it's quite important to mention. Now, we offer a cover of mental health services to cooperative clients, and we are able to do that at a reduced rate for our ION cooperative members. Including in this package is online therapy and coaching, a smart mental health app that tailors its content to its users using AI, comprehensive mental health training according to the needs of the company, mental health forum, access to useful psychoeducational material, and analytics to help build a company-wide mental health profile. Now, the next thing, I'm personally very excited about it and very proud that I have the opportunity to present that today. RTN is starting a pilot scheme early in the new year, exclusively for ION individual members. Individuals get access to online talk therapy with neurodiverse aware therapists and coaches, a smart mental health app, a mental health forum exclusively for ION individual members, and relevant psychoeducational material. Now, RTN only charges £99 per year for a full all-inclusive mental health cover. Now, that's really low. I think most of us now, getting a therapy session today is anything between 50 and 70 pounds. If you get a specialist, up to 150, 160 pounds. Now, because it is very low, there are limited spaces available. It's a pilot scheme, but we're trying to offer something very special to ION members. And we need to see how it's going to run. We want to give the best service possible. That's for us very, very important. And we want to make a difference. And we are determined to make a difference to the neurodiverse communities, exactly as ION does. So very excited about it. So if you want to have more information on this pilot scheme, please contact me on membership@RTN Mental Health Solutions or just contact ION. Now, in short, RTN is excited to service the mental health needs of ION's members. In partnership, we look forward to contributing, making a difference to many people's life globally. We are active on LinkedIn, so it's definitely worth connecting with us. And we also have a fully refurbished website, which provides further information on our services and the pool of amazing therapists we have waiting to service ION members. RTN, reaching the neurodiverse. That's it. Thank you for listening. I wanted to talk a little bit more, but I was only allowed 5 minutes. It's very difficult for me to only talk 5 minutes. But just on a personal note, I'm extremely proud to have the opportunity to work with the ION team. I've been working in research for over 10 years, looking at the effects of regular exposure to nature on neurodiverse children and students in regards to cognitive ability and emotion. My nephew is in the autistic spectrum, And so I think we've all been touched somewhere. We either in the spectrum or we have family members within the spectrum. So it has a lot of meaning to me. I'm passionate what I do, and I believe all our team is extremely passionate of what they do, providing the services. And here we go now, I'm talking again. I'm leaving it as that. Thank you very much, Morwenna.
Thanks, Michael, you did really well. I know, I was so script.
No,
I was so tough with you. I know we're all talkers, but and also as Michael mentioned, of course we're not just about autism. We're about the whole range of neurodiversity as well. That's important to mention. But thank you so much, Michael, and to everybody who's spoken today, and our cameos as Jude and Jeremy. Hope you enjoyed those. So thank you. We are at the end, but we would love to hear any questions from people. I've been manically rushing around, taking people on mute, so we don't hear their kids and their pets, although we are very happy to talk to them and see them on screen. So I don't know if anybody has any questions they would love to ask. You're welcome to pop yourself off mute, raise a hand, whatever you would like to do. And if it's to a particular person, we can address that to a particular person, or Charlotte can answer general questions, or I can. I know there's a few things in the chat as well. Somebody's asking for links to the websites, etc. Yes, we'll certainly share that. And thank you very much for joining. Well, Stephanie, do you want to come in and ask a question? Please do.
Yes, thank you. Hi. I just want to say well done. It's amazing. I wanted to ask if the first thing that comes to mind is this aimed at adults, children, everybody? Is it because it's such a massive kind of amount of people that be interested, and with so many diverse kind of challenges or support needed, or support, I don't like the word, but anyway, you know what I mean. So
no, thank you.
Yeah, I think at the moment there's just my son has just been diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and I guess the most of the kind of literature that I find is extremely negative. So
yeah,
I'm just wondering, is there anything there for that? And also, I understand that there are people who are being diagnosed much later in life, and can we kind of nip it in the bud? And what's the ION going to do about that?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'll take that, Morwenna, if that's
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. So we, as a membership organization, we are from 18 and up. We do, however, focus on what is going on with our children. I also have neurodiverse children, and I'm very interested in ensuring their future as well as everybody else's future. On the lives, but we effectively discriminated against from cradle to grave, and that has got to stop. We have to look at that. But when I got diagnosed, and when one of my children got diagnosed, I had nowhere to reach out. I had nobody to ask, what is this like? How does it work? It was like I was just very alone. It felt very alone. I tried to reach out to some therapists, but as they knew nothing about neurodiversity, they might sometimes reach quickly to medication, which I don't like, and my child doesn't like it either, so we don't want that. But what I eventually found was a small group of neurodivergent people like myself, and autism, ADHD, and that was really, really helpful for me. That's what I wanted to recreate when I came very public last year. And I thought what is really lacking here is our community, our voice. So we have an agency in society, and we experience exclusions from schools and stuff like that. And I looked into how many neurodivergent children got excluded from schools. It's a lot. It's too many. We want to raise our voice on behalf of all of that on that. So if a school really wants to do that, they have more people they are accountable to, because we might be able to bear down on them with a letter reminding them that we are a community and together we are stronger. So the answer is the membership is from 18 and up, because it's hard to manage children in a membership organization. However, we are concerned with what goes on around our children. We are concerned with any kind of conversion training, I call it. We're concerned with changing the labels so that they are not negatively biased. For example, all the labels we're giving are based on negative outlook for us, just by the sheer name they have given it, starting with this or whatever it might be, as opposed to looking at the whole person. So we want to weigh in on those kind of things as well. So yes, you're right, it's a huge area, and we know that, but that's why we want to hear from all our members of what are the top priorities, what are the things that a majority of us feel we need to push in on. We are starting to look at the criminal justice system. We have way too many neurodivergent people within the criminal justice system, and we need to deal with that and get it on the table. It's not something we should be silent on. It's something that needs to be opened up. So we're having a 2-day seminar next year, not seminar, conference, where we bring together probate, lawyers, police, jails, prisons, all the different groups of people that are involved with it, with us present as well. So people, neurodivergent people with the lived experience in the system will get their voice to the table. So this is how we are trying to approach the different things that that hopefully we can finally have a voice on, and therefore an agency on, as opposed to letting other people talk on our behalves. I hope that answered your question, but of course, happy if you come back and ask again.
I think they're quite complex questions, some of these, aren't they? So probably not one-word answers. We've got quite a lot of questions in the chat, and forgive me if I don't always spot everything. So Stephanie, you asked your question. Maria San Rafael asked, are services available globally? You can answer that fairly easily, Charlotte.
Yeah, so we launched globally. So the headquarters in Switzerland is basically dealing with everyone globally. So we will aim to service people no matter what country they're in. And once we have a country lead, there will be more ability to then do local things in the country as well as, but the global services are certain. What you see on the website, we will be able to work with individuals all over the world on that. And the mental health services are also available globally. Is that right, Michael? Yeah.
As far as we know, unless we hear otherwise from Michael.
No, that's correct. Yes, it's available globally. And I also would like to say, I want to add something to it. There's a lot of questions. I can see questions popping up everywhere. You can always contact us in ION, of course, and RTN. We don't turn anyone down. I might get criticized for that right now, but we don't. It is not all about the money, and I have to bring it up. If you're stuck somewhere, or you're desperate, or you're struggling, contact us at RTN. You can do that. My email address is available through ION, and if you have questions in regards to mental health, it doesn't cost you anything. I will support you as much as I can, and I know my team will support you as much as they can. I can assure you that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So I'm just,
we have somebody.
I'm so sorry. So can I just jump to this one around the organizational structure, just to
Sure, go ahead.
On that. So I've been involved with other global charities. I started another charity called Border Apprentice, and we are operating on 4 different continents now. We're organized as a social franchise to ensure ION is organized as a social franchise, which is the same as what Border Apprentice is, to ensure that we have one concept that we all follow, that we have one operations manual that we all handle our services from. We will work from one website, at least up to the first 50,000 members, and then we will reorganize to see what's the best way of doing it. But it will always be the same delivery in all the different countries we are present in. Yes, you're right, 1 million members. How do we listen to all those voices? Well, once, when we have 1 million members, we will also have more resources than what we have today financially. We will apply for grants and for philanthropy to support the course that we are on, and trying to bring all our voices together. Setting up networks everywhere, for example. We support the hosts so that we can develop all these networks everywhere. The host will develop it, but we will support them to do so. We can do that from the central point, from the global point, or we can do it in individual countries if we have groups of people locally that would like to do that within their own country. So it's through a mesh, if you want, we are trying to be able to listen to everybody. And the system we have for our website, behind that, there's a software called Wild Apricot, and they have dealt with membership organizations for decades and have a lot of the systems we need to be able to contact all our members behind the scenes, and also with the forums and the different services that are available on the website to bring people together. Is it going to be perfect? Probably not, but if we're all helping each other and ensuring that we get in the right direction. I was chairing the Institute of Directors with 30,000 members for 2 years. I learned a lot about having thousands, tens of thousands of members then. And I'm trying to use some of that knowledge and understanding to make sure we don't fall into some of the pitfalls that I saw is easy to fall into, and that we try to organize ourselves the best way possible from the beginning. I hope that answered your question, Nikki.
We've got somebody with a hand up, Michael Scales. I don't know if you want to come in, Michael. I don't want to miss you. If you're able to
good evening to everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
My question's to Punit, if he's available, if I said that correctly. It's to do with the professional side of things. I have a background in psychology and other things. I'm a neurodiverse and multiple neurodiverse and physical issues as well. It's to do with the role that the professional world has, in my mind, played in condemning neurodiverse people. A lot of it came from, I believe, to the fact that the science side of things is such a objective outside view of things, and they really have absolutely no bloody idea what is actually going on. And I think that the labeling of such things in neurodiversity has been contributing to a lot of the issues. I'm a mature age person now, and I was a late diagnose, even though I have a family of neurodiverse people, and I'd like to find out what the efforts are going to be to change the status quo of the professional side of things, especially psychology, psychiatry, and the legal avenues that are possibly able to change such things. So, if that's a simple enough question.
It's a great question, Michael, and I agree with many of the things that you said. And I think one of the starting points to change that status quo is to have meetings like this. So I'm not a clinician, per se. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm much more of a researcher, and my approach to research is to co-produce research, co-design research with neurodivergent people for neurodivergent people, and that's certainly the way in which we're moving towards in the field of research, and that's likely to feed into and improve clinical practice, and indeed clinical practice which has historically not been particularly helpful, to say the least, for neurodivergent people. So all I can say at this stage is I understand what you're saying, I sympathize with what you're saying, and there are many of us researchers, neurodivergent people working together and for a more optimistic and positive future, not just for neurodivergent people, but also for neurotypical parents with neurodivergent children, as we've heard about today as well. I can't say anything more than that, other than I understand what you said, and I think this is a great initiative to push forward in that positive direction that I'm optimistic for personally myself.
Thank you, Punit. That's brilliant. I know we've got lots more questions in the chat, and I want to try to make sure we get to everybody. But if we don't, if people want to stay on, I'm very happy to stay on a little bit after the end. So where are we up to? What's the best way to continue discussion around partnerships and memberships? Lydia is asking. I don't know if that's one for you, Charlotte, to pick up.
Say that again. What's the best way to
continue a discussion around partnerships and memberships?
So what we would like to have is regular events, like open events where we can sit and talk about that, but also getting in touch with us through the website is a really good way. So there are some call to action buttons that will direct you into the global steering group, and we will respond to anyone who would like to do partnerships. And there's also on the website sign up for members, both for corporate members and for individual members. I just want to say, if anyone is working as an employee in one of our corporate members, then they don't need to sign up. They are signed up through their corporate membership. I'm waiting for some of the contact persons in different of our corporate members to set up the list of their employees in their neurodiversity employee resource group, so that they can all be set up and be part of the website membership group as well.
Brilliant. So Hayley is asking, saying she's interested in, she works in the field of criminology and she's interested in some partnerships there. I don't know if you want to elaborate, but it sounds like possibly a more complex one if you want to contact us outside of this, Hayley. But we would certainly be keen.
Please contact me or Morwenna directly, and we'll make sure that you'll get involved with some of that work, because that's going to be a global piece. And we will have advocates within the space to really come in. We've got some great advocate in Australia, for example, where we are also launching very soon, and they're already working to set up in Australia. So it's going to be an important event. It's going to be mid next year, July. We just need to set the actual dates for it, and then we'll start sending invitations around for people to be part of that summit with the criminal justice system and the law.
And lots of comments, personal comments in the chat, people talking about the workplace and discrimination, which we know is an issue. Somebody asking, Carly's asking, what can we look forward to happening next? Or is this subjective based upon each individual project? It depends on each project, doesn't it? And that's probably a wide question. I don't know if you can summarize it briefly, Charlotte.
Come into that bit. So, for example, we have already, with our research and professional development group, posted on our LinkedIn and Facebook, and some masterclasses. So every month we have a masterclass around neurodiversity that's free to attend, that any one of you can sign up to. We would also start setting up forums. Any one of our members can request to have a forum if they feel that there's a forum that needs to be set up and discussions going on in it. What we need, however, is 2 hosts that will oversee the forum and ensure that everybody adhere to our basic values of being respectful and kind. We don't want any toxic conversations going on within our organization. We want everybody to be psychologically safe. So if people don't understand how to be respectful and kind, we'll have to talk to them about that. And that's why we need 2 hosts for every forum, so we don't have forums where we don't have a bit of oversight of what's going on. As I said, the awards will come next year, but ongoing we will have various events that will come out. We're going to have more country launches, and we will ensure that we are having certainly more stories. Morwenna is working on stories all the time, and that we are being noticed in the press as well. So we're trying to do a lot with very little, because we are effectively a group of volunteers that has gotten this together and has gotten it to this place. So any help from anyone in terms of putting together applications for funding of any kind is very gracefully received. Obviously, as we can get people that are actually employees and working for us, it will be easier to do more things.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Somebody who works in the justice system as a magistrate, we would very much like to talk to you, I'm sure.
Yes.
Somebody's asked about the organisational structure, which I think you've mentioned. I think that is most of the questions. I think it's mostly just people saying that they're really happy to hear from us. Unless I missed any questions, I'm frantically scrolling and skimming. Am I missing any? People who've led their neurodiversity groups.
A few mentioning that they would be happy to help. Please do.
Wonderful.
come through. So we have under our website a call to action volunteering. If you wouldn't mind writing through that, then we will receive it and we can get into a conversation on your great offer of helping us.
Yeah, please do. We absolutely welcome that. And on the screen now are all the different ways to get involved and contact us and hear the ION stories and so on. So we would love to hear from you.
Michael is back. Michael, would you like to ask a question?
No, I'm just getting a lot of messages right now, which is very exciting through LinkedIn. So I do apologize.
Right.
I probably don't disguise right now that I'm typing here on my phone, but it's really touching. And I really love it, every minute of it. And I don't want to let anyone wait. So that's what I'm on right now.
And we also have Michael Scales with his hand up.
Hello again. My next question is to Tony Fish. I've been involved with the startup, trying to be involved with the startup community, both here in Sweden and in Australia, where I come from. And I've noticed that the startup community or the environment seems to be very linear and very box orientated, which makes it extremely difficult for neurodiverse people like myself who have wild, really big ideas, and that which is not abnormal for us, but it doesn't seem to fit there, and there seems to be a very big disjoint between neurodiverse people being able to get their ideas together, which is not so easy for us to do, and then to be able to put these into this linear box thing. And I was wondering if Tony had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, Michael, you're not wrong. There's a pile of programs out there that have been built by the large consulting companies aimed at other people who kind of like fulfill and talk the language they do. Sean O'Sullivan's a very good one for if you are neurodiverse with big ideas. SOSV Ventures. There's a pile out there. A media network, the eBay founders. Most of the people who have founded big businesses have gone on, have their own funds. Are much more interested in other neurodiverse people to work with than the classic incubators, which have a set model run by people who really have never backed or built a business, being advised by other people who have consulted but never actually built a business. And you end up with a very linear process, which just doesn't work. Totally agree. And it's a good observation.
Would I be able to contact you via maybe LinkedIn and to get some further details, if that'd be okay?
Yeah, it's on LinkedIn. You'll find me as Tony Fish. I'm dead easy to find on everywhere as Tony Fish.
Terrific.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like a good collaboration potentially. Thank you.
Ready for some great conversations. I have enjoyed my conversations with Tony over a couple of years now, where we pester each other on a regular basis, which is great. In fact, generally, I have to say, over the last year, having started this journey, I've been speaking to so many amazing neurodivergent individuals. It's just been such a joy. I felt really part of something from having gone most of my life to feel, on the outside of the circles, of social circles, and even to the degree of my own family, to having found a bigger family that we're growing to be a global family. For me, that's an absolute joy. And every day is bringing up new amazing things, also scary things that I hadn't looked at before. For example, issues around organ donors, that if you are neurodivergent, you might not go on the waiting list for organ donors. And I was like, hello, we need to do something about that. There's so many other things that pops up where you're thinking, really, how does that even work? And then trying to get my head around how do we deal with that as a community, all of us together, to ensure that everyone who comes behind us will get treated better.
Charlotte, we are almost on the hour, which is amazing. We couldn't have arranged it better if we tried. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. It's been an amazing session, and thank you for all your wonderful questions. As we've said, these are all the ways to get involved. Contact us on LinkedIn. We'd love to speak to people. We love to hear from people who are interested in volunteering. And if you'd like to tell your story, particularly, contact me for ION Stories. I'm going to stop the recording now, and thank you again so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.